Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and as I have now reached 1,000 subscribers, which just boggles my mind, I figured I would finally do a video that many of you have probably been waiting for since you first subscribed to however long ago. This is EIR. I'm going to go over all of her features as well as her history and her lore just to answer all the questions that people keep asking. Starting, of course, with the name. I've been asked numerous times what the name means. In my personal opinion, based on my beliefs for whatever they're worth, a weapon should have a name, but should only be named when it's earned it. Now, naming a weapon for descriptive purposes, the Nerf Demolisher or the Long Strike or whatever, that's all well and good because that's the description, but to give it an actual personal name, I believe it needs to have earned it in battle, whether it's a toy or whether it's a real weapon or what have you. I always felt that naming a weapon before it has ever actually been used is just asking for trouble, and if it fails your first time out, well then that's embarrassing. If a little girl throws it into the river and makes you look like a complete tool, well there you have it. So EIR got her name after I believe the second HVZ that I was in. And I wanted a name that was clever because I'm a huge nerd. So EIR has several meanings. It is actually, of course, a word in English based on the Latin era. EIR means wrath or anger. I also then looked up the various deities of war gods. I wanted to find something that fit, and I stumbled across the Norse Valkyrie of Mercy, whose name is EIR. And the two words are, in fact, when spelled in English, are anagrams of each other. EIR is spelled I-R-E, and the Norse Valkyrie's name is E-I-R. And the fact that they were anagrams tickled me on a deep, nerdy level, so I decided to go with that. The Elder Futhark for EIR is very different, and that is my plan one day is to have the Latin inscribed on one side of the blaster and the Elder Futhark runes on the other side of the blaster. I just haven't gotten around to it yet because that's something I want to take my time and do right, and I kind of wanted to wait until I had all of the internals and all of that updated, which I have most of them now. I'll have a video on all of its internals right after this one. So I chose to go with EIR. EIR has earned her name many times. The reason I went with the Norse Valkyrie of Mercy, and why I really felt that fit, is that EIR was originally built and is still primarily used for and intended to kill zombies. I first got into Nerf as a result of HVZ. I also now still use this in Afterworlds, which has zombies. So I built her to kill zombies. I believe that killing zombies is a mercy, and zombies piss me off. So the Norse Valkyrie of Mercy, the Latin for angry, it fit so beautifully in my nerdy little mind. You may notice a feature that has not been displayed before, EIR's chainsaw bayonet, because killing zombies, one must have a chainsaw bayonet. It works and everything. I want to replace the Home Depot with Zombie Gone, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. It is just a toy chainsaw that I picked up at Goodwill that I minimized, cut everything out of, kept the battery pack and the motor pack, and then I attached it to a section of the Titan that is in fact in EIR. The Titan, as those of you who are familiar with the Titan, has a section on the side that is reverse rail that allows you to attach a pistol to the side. So I cut that off and attached the chainsaw to it so that I could attach it to rail. Other than that, it has no function. It just looks neat and makes people, look at me funny. Reaching back into EIR's lore, the Titan was not the original underslung integration. That was the second. The original was this, which has been dubbed the Horror Maverick by my friends. It is a Maverick that's been singled, had the cylinder and all that removed. The cylinder that was here became the Titan's first absolver and is now my bazooka's absolver. I singled it, added a barrel way down inside there that you may or may not be able to see, and it fires these little pop rockets or slam shots or whatever they're being called, sold at Winco. It's just front load the barrel, prime it as normal, and it shoots. And it actually shoots surprisingly well because the darts are finned and fairly well weighted. But I just had it attached rail to rail. I made a metal rail to rail adapter and it just stuck right there, and you primed it forward to load it. And it looked horrific and it worked terrible, and the moment I got the Titan, away it went. But I keep it around for posterity. The Titan I got on eBay for super cheap because it had a leak in the pressure indicator. So I, of course, cut that off, integrated it in. You can see the details on the integration in the next video. The pump is a bicycle pump that I got at Walmart. It is a bidirectional pump, so it pumps up very quickly, locks back into place. I really like how that fit. The original trigger from the Titan, and all of that. The next feature that I added was the UV LED. I used to use the Firefly magazines that have their own LEDs built into them, but I didn't like how much room they take up and how much heavier they are. So I switched to using clear magazines and put my own UV LED in. Again, you can see the details of that in the internals video, but the switch for it's on this side, and it lights up and shines right on top of the top dart. And since it's UV, it lights them up pretty much instantly, and you can shoot full auto and it comes out charged. Excellent design. Have to use clear magazines though, or of course the magazine blocks the dart. Very simple. The next integration that I added was the motorized pump for the air tank, which has a switch right here and works excellently. It doesn't give it quite as much pressure as the manual pump does, but it will do single shots very, very well. And with less power, they're less dangerous at close range, and I kind of like that. So that's there. It runs off its own batteries. Again, all the details in the build video. Next thing that I got my hands on, I think, was actually this, which is the Nerf pinpoint sight that came with the Modulus system. I painted it up to match all of, to match EIR and put it on there. It, of course, doesn't really do anything. Nerf guns aren't that accurate, and these things don't really shine the light where you want it to, but it looks neat at a distance. I then added a flashlight laser sight combination because I wanted a flashlight, and I discovered that they made a combination one, so I went ahead and grabbed one of those. It can do just laser, just flashlight, or both, and is activated from the button up here, so I can reach it with my offhand. Very nice. The final big upgrade that I did was the ammo counter and voltmeter. I did them at the same time. A friend of mine who got me the front pump also got me the voltmeter. I don't know what it's out of, but it lights up when the gun lights up. Unfortunately, it was damaged when I did some recent upgrades, and I'm going to have to replace it, and finding one that's the exact same size could be difficult. It does still work, but it's shorting out, which is unfortunate. But you can see, you'll understand the redundant power in the build video, but I have two sets of batteries in here. One that's currently running at 15.2 and the other one that's coming in at 15.7, so 15.6. So it's got redundant power, which is switched between this switch right here. Alternatively, instead of having two internal battery packs, I can have one internal and one external that plugs in back here. Alternatively, again, because I like all things modulars, I like my options, I could have a battery pack inside the gun that powered something that was plugged in here. It hasn't come up, but now that I know that it's an option, I'm thinking of things that I could possibly do with that. The final upgrade was the ammo counter, which, again, details in the next video, but it activates by firing the gun. With every trigger pull, it goes down one. The buttons that control it are on the side near the switch for the motor. The lower one is reset. Hopefully you can see this. That resets it to whatever the current value is. There's also a manual decrement in case you're putting in a magazine that isn't full, or the magazine options. If you hold down the fire button and hit the reset button, it changes what the reset value is. There are 5 options: 6, 12, 18, 25, and 35, because those were the magazine options at the time. They've since, of course, come out with 10s. Workers got 15s and 22s. Busby's got the 20s. But that's the thing about the manual decrement, is if I need to do 22, I can go to 25 and then decrement it 3 times when I put a magazine in. Not that much of an issue. But reset will set it back to whatever it is. And then the switch for powering it is here underneath the sling mount that I don't use, because I use a single point sling mount that just clips right into my plate carrier. There's a single point sling on the plate carrier. Just today and yesterday, I started doing some upgrades to her internals. That again will be gone over in the upgrade video, but I would like to thank Alex at Storm Rage for EVA, that's his YouTube channel, as well as I'd like to mention Aeromech, because I watched a couple of his Stampede videos that allowed me to make those upgrades. It is now running at 6K, a 6K spring running at around 15.5 to 16.5 volts, depending on how fresh the batteries are. And it is running absolutely beautifully. Previously, running at these voltages, I would have had issues with the gun running away. But since I made these upgrades, I have not. And it has noticeably more power. So there you have it. That is EIR, the culmination of my current modding abilities. I have every intention of going on to do more interesting modifications. Well, I suppose EIR is interesting enough. But, you know, cosmetic mods and body mods, I want to do a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm going to be working on. And I will be posting those videos as I do it. I plan to do one starting tomorrow, and we'll see how well that goes. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Tell all of your friends about my wonderful channel and all of the cool stuff I have. There will be more in the future. Stay tuned for the internal mod guide. So, if you have any comments, any questions, anything that you think I should add, anything you think I've done wrong, feel free to leave it in the comments below, and thank you for watching.